So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another album review of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today I'm talking about the new album by the band Imperial Triumphant called Gold Star, and this is out on Century Media Records this Friday. So, I got to be honest. This is a band that I have listened to, but not really gotten really into them. But I got the promo and I said, let me step out of my comfort zone and give this a listen because I have listened to their previous albums. And yes, they're very talented musicians, but something about the extreme music, it's something that I really have to be in the mood. I'm not really like a super huge fan of really extreme types of music here and there. And their albums, they had like very long songs, and they're from New York City. They're a trio, and they write songs that are meant to reflect everything that is New York City, the grandiose nature of the city, and also the ugliness of some parts of the city. So they were, some Golden Mask, and their last album was very a lot of praise to it, and I remember listening to it. And I thought, yeah, it has some stuff, maybe not for me, but I said, let me get out of my comfort zone and listen to Gold Star because this is a shorter album. It's like a 35-minute album, 9 tracks. So what they did on this album is that they tried to maybe be more palatable to people that maybe are not into that much of like extreme music. So Imperial Triumphant, they have a mixture of like extreme, like heavy death metal, black metal vocals, but they also infuse some jazz elements and progressive elements into their sound. So they're very unique sounding in a way. And so this album being shorter, they put out an EP, I think last year, and they were doing songs by Rush, Metallica, shorter tracks, and they were being offered like tours. And when you're in a supporting tour and opening for bands, you have like 35 minutes to play your stuff. And if your songs are like 9 minutes, 10 minutes long, like you're not gonna be able to play a lot. So on this album, they were able to hone their sound and maybe concise it in like the length of the songs, but not lose their essence of what is Imperial Triumphant. So right off the get-go, this album starts like very aggressive with the song Eye of Mars, like a very chaotic start. It almost feels like it's rush hour in New York City. Everything, you hear all the noises. And I must be, I've been to New York City. I'm not a fan. I think it's too crowded, man. Too much noise for my liking. But it does have some good stuff in it, architecture, like design, like it's a big city, interesting city in that way, very modern. And what this album opener really, you're like, wow, it's very chaotic, and it feels like it can be a very unpredictable record. Like you don't know where this record is going. The record has a few guest stars, including Thomas Hake, plays the battery, the drums for Meshuggah. I don't know, I went in a blank. Please forgive me. And also, there's another song that has Dave Lombardo. You may have heard of him. He's played in Slayer and some other bands. So when like you got these big names attached to a project, it's a band that is getting a lot of respect, even though they're pretty underground band, but the last few records, they've been getting more recognition. So Thomas Hackett like provides some like spoken word, which I didn't know that he did, but apparently he did for this record on the song Lexington Delirium, which is like the third track on the record. And when you listen to a track, you hear sounds of like sirens and like the city, like it's in the background always as part of Imperial Triumphant's music. So I thought that was cool because that song starts with a slow start, like a slow guitar, and then in the background you hear the noises, and then of course it gets to be very aggressive. But I like the contrast of what it did. So I must say I enjoy what they did on that one. I think it's pretty interesting and keeps you on your toes on where the song is going to next. There's a song that's like, I think it's like 56 seconds, called New York City, or it may be shorter, and it feels like very chaotic. And apparently this was improvised. They improvised this on the studio, which is quite impressive. And it just feels like less than a minute of like pure chaos, an attack on your senses. So it may not be for everyone. But then they have an interlude near the end, before the last three songs. They have an interlude called Gold Star, like the record, and that one sounds like a 1930s like radio commercial, like Gold Star, and also reminded me, if you play video games, it reminded me of the video game BioShock, because BioShock had that like type of music in some parts of the video game. So I thought it was cool. I felt like, hey, maybe they could have started the record with this, but I think that's like a cool palate cleanser to prepare you for the last three songs, which can be very extreme sounding. For example, I think it's Pliadstone, the one that has Dave Lombardo. That one is very chaotic, but also kind of like weird experimental jazz sounds. And it's a song that you don't know where it's going. I was really like, I thought it was going somewhere, it did something else, which I thought was interesting. The last track on the record is the longest track on the album. It's called Industry Misery. It's 7 minutes long, and it's like a very moody track that keeps on building momentum. And then you have like all this chaos embarking the song, and the vocals can be pretty aggressive, but black metal vocals as well. So yes, I think it's an interesting record. Am I going to listen this a lot throughout the year? Probably not, because to be honest, this is not my cup of tea. This is not like the type of music that I usually listen to. But I can say that it's very well produced. Like very well done, and I think they achieved what they were going for, which was like making a shorter, concise record without losing what they have done in the past. So yes, I think if you like Imperial Triumphant, then you're going to enjoy this. It's not a commercial record, and they haven't lost their essence. To me, I can appreciate the band for their talent. But unfortunately for me, this is not a record that I'm going to be listening to like the whole year, because it's just not for me. But I can say I'm not saying here that it's a bad record, because it is not. It's just I'm not the target audience for this. I love melody, but yes, some interesting things in here. Very unpredictable record and a lot of experimentation. And since I got the promo, I was reading stuff in the promo, like they were comparing themselves to, like, this was their like Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction. I was like, this is very interesting, because this sounds nothing like Guns N' Roses, but I'm guessing they're saying like with the ballsy approach and everything. And I think what they were trying to achieve in having like shorter tracks without losing their essence, they achieved it with this record. Because I remember their last record I listened to, and I thought there was some very long tracks. And when you have like very extreme music, when I think really extreme music, I don't want a 10-minute track of extreme music. Please give it to me in short bursts. That's how I can handle it. So I want to know from you, Couchers, what do you think of Imperial Triumphant-Goldstar? Are you a fan of this music? And yeah, I gotta say, I'm glad I got out of my comfort zone and reviewed this, because I didn't want to give it like, I want to give it a fair review, because just because it's not something that I listen to all the time, that doesn't mean it's bad. So I wanted to give my honest take as someone that's not really into this music but can appreciate like the work that was put into this record. The production is great. I love the sounds of the city, how they mesh with the music. I thought that was very interesting. So please comment down below what do you think of this album, what are your favorite tracks, and if you like the videos that I'm putting out, do not forget to subscribe and give me a like. That helps me with the YouTube algorithm to get to more people like yourself. So until next time, this is Hector, the chill dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.